Firstsource, UnBPO, transforming the BPO landscape. His granddad was called the takeover tycoon. His father expanded the business. Shashwat Goenka has his job cut out as he charts a new course amid major disruptions. UnBPO puts Firstsource on a favorable trajectory, but only if the model withstands operational scrutiny. In a climate where economic caution competes with digital urgency, what enterprise buyers want is auditability, flexibility, and performance consistency, says Sanchit Gogia, Chief Executive and Chief Analyst, Greyhound Research, a technology consulting firm. As quoted in Outlook Business, in an article authored by Yathika Bhargava published on July 31st, 2025. Beyond the media quote, our view in full. Press for time? You can focus solely on the Greyhound flashpoints that follow. Each one distills the full analysis into a sharp, executive-ready takeaway, combining our official standpoint, validated through Pulse data from ongoing CXO trackers, and grounded in field notes from real-world advisory engagements. UnBPO or bust. Firstsource AI-first reinvention faces its execution reckoning. Greyhound flashpoint. Firstsource UnBPO initiative signals a structural reset, not just of its delivery playbook, but of the broader BPO sector's identity. It repositions AI from being a bolt-on feature to the foundation of pricing, process, and value realization. Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025 reveals that 64% of Fortune 1000 CIOs in North America have delayed or restructured procurement cycles due to policy volatility and tariff risk, while 57% are actively prioritizing AI-led services as software delivery models over traditional seat-based contracts. This puts Firstsource in a favorable trajectory, but only if the model withstands operational scrutiny. In a climate where economic caution competes with digital urgency, enterprise buyers are no longer persuaded by vision alone. What they want is auditability, flexibility, and performance consistency. Firstsource may have triggered a category shift with UnBPO, but sustaining leadership will depend on operationalizing AI at a velocity that matches market trust, not just technological ambition. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, Firstsource transition to an AI-first operating model via UnBPO reflects the necessary unlearning and reconfiguration that legacy BPO firms must now embrace to remain relevant. By dismantling the decades-old fixation on labor cost arbitrage and instead anchoring delivery in agentic, domain-specific AI units, the firm is attempting to rebalance the outsourcing equation around client outcomes, not effort. The approach is structurally aligned with what enterprise technology buyers are demanding: modularity, transparency, and shared accountability. However, this pivot carries an unavoidable complexity cost. Firstsource must absorb the dissonance between its traditional workforce architecture and the UnBPO model's demand for platform thinking, AI governance, and fluid incentive systems. This burden is magnified as larger incumbents replicate similar messaging with stronger geographic entrenchment and deeper transformation budgets. For UnBPO to graduate from concept to category, Firstsource will need to move beyond announcing the new model. It must continuously prove its elasticity across verticals, client sizes, and geographic regimes. Greyhound Pulse. Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025 finds that 57% of CIOs in the U.S. view AI-led delivery as the future of IT BPM, but 43% of COOs and heads of risk express concern over governance, auditability, and readiness of AI for regulated workflows. Furthermore, Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025 indicates that 48% of procurement heads in healthcare and BFSI verticals are hesitant to enter outcome-based contracts unless accompanied by pricing reversibility and legal clarity. In addition, Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025 reveals that 58% of enterprise CFOs are in favor of transformation models that offer exit elasticity and clear breakpoints, precisely the kind of commercial flex UnBPO attempts to deliver. Yet despite growing openness, Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025 shows that 39% of transformation executives still flag explainability and data control as key friction points in scaling AI in multi-regional operations. In this light, Firstsource model is not out of sync with enterprise interest, but its real-world success hinges on addressing these purchasing hesitations via predictable delivery, contract hygiene, and embedded risk design. Greyhound Fieldnotes. Per a recent Greyhound Fieldnote from a strategic transformation workshop with a European logistics provider, a pilot for AI-led invoice verification was deprioritized despite 23% efficiency gains. Internal audit teams flag the AI system's lack of explainability and the absence of phased rollback options in the pricing structure. While the technology proved viable, the program stalled because enterprise risk functions lacked frameworks to evaluate AI-embedded decisions, a growing theme in regulated industries. In contrast, a Greyhound-advised microfinance institution in Southeast Asia rolled out multilingual AI agents for frontline onboarding and KYC support across 4 languages. Within the first quarter, support capacity doubled without increasing headcount, driven by agentic automation handling 80% of first-touch interactions. Success in this case was not driven by technology maturity alone, but by governance co-creation, embedded compliance liaisons, and upfront investment in language model training. Elsewhere, during a budgeting reorientation exercise with a North American educational nonprofit, the organization piloted a hybrid service model using AI agents for low-risk tasks and onshore teams for exceptions. The transition yielded a 26% cost reduction over 2 quarters without SLA breach. Notably, the board only greenlit the change after operational resilience, not cost saving, was positioned as the initiative's central benefit. These field notes confirm a recurring pattern. UnBPO-style delivery gains momentum only in organizations where structural readiness, compliance architecture, and executive alignment coalesce. The friction lies not in AI's potential, but in the organizational bandwidth required to embed that potential responsibly. Analyst in focus, Sanchit Gogia. Sanchit Gogia, or SVG as he is popularly known, is a globally recognized technology analyst, innovation strategist, digital consultant, and board advisor. SVG is the chief analyst, founder and CEO of Greyhound Research, a global, award-winning technology research, advisory, consulting, and education firm. Greyhound Research works closely with global organizations, their CXOs, and the board of directors on technology and digital transformation decisions. SVG is also the founder and CEO of the House of Greyhound, an eclectic venture focusing on interdisciplinary innovation. Copyright policy. All content contained on the Greyhound Research website is protected by copyright law and may not be reproduced, distributed, transmitted, displayed, published, or broadcast without the prior written permission of Greyhound Research or, in the case of third-party materials, the prior written consent of the copyright owner of that content. You may not alter, delete, obscure, or conceal any trademark, copyright, or other notice appearing in any Greyhound Research content. We request our readers not to copy Greyhound Research content and not republish or redistribute them, in whole or partially, via emails or republishing them in any media, including websites, newsletters, or intranets. We understand that you may want to share this content with others, so we've added tools under each content piece that allow you to share the content. If you have any questions, please get in touch with our community relations team at connect@thoffer.com.